Folks, let me tell you, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything quite like this unfolding right now. We are potentially on the brink of one of the most significant trades in recent NFL memory, something that could send ripples throughout the league. As a former scout, I've sat in war rooms, breaking down tapes, making judgment calls on players that could make or break a season. And let me assure you, the buzz around this rumor has every executive, coach, and analyst on tenterhooks. My sources are whispering, and they are whispering about a move that could potentially change the landscape of the upcoming NFL season and possibly the next decade for one team. It's the kind of trade that could see nightmares for offensive linemen league-wide suddenly become very real. We're talking about a player so dominant that he eats double teams for breakfast and tosses aside offensive tackles as if they were rag dolls. But before we dive into the details of this colossal rumor, let's first understand why the Cleveland Browns are in this situation and what exactly they are looking to fix. Now, analyzing the Cleveland Browns, who are at a crossroads in trying to elevate their team from perennial underachievers to genuine Super Bowl contenders, requires a detailed look into their current roster and what they lack to make that jump. This analysis stems not just from numbers, but from hours of film study, watching and understanding the nuances of their play style and deficiencies. Offensively, the Browns have made significant strides, but when it comes to their defense, especially their interior defensive line, there's an unmistakable gap. Analytics signal a concerning statistic. The Browns ranked 26th in run defense last year, allowing an average of 4.8 yards per carry. Opponents have effectively exploited this glaring weakness in the heart of their defense. Film studies show that despite having some talented players on the roster, the Browns have struggled to consistently generate pressure up the middle and clog running lanes. This becomes particularly detrimental in key moments against high-caliber offenses that can manipulate such a deficiency to great effect. We've seen teams like the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers, known for their strategic ground games, capitalize on Cleveland's inability to hold their defensive front. With these vulnerabilities, the Browns have often found themselves on the wrong end of grinding, clock-consuming drives. A major factor contributing to this issue is the relative underperformance of their interior defensive linemen when it comes to applying pressure. The Browns' current lineup lacks a true disruptor in the middle, someone who can not only hold the point, but collapse the pocket, forcing quarterbacks into hurried decisions. Analytics point towards a sack rate from the interior that places them in the bottom quarter of the league. For a team with playoff aspirations, this lack of penetration and disruption is untenable. What they need is a player who can dominate one-on-one matchups, demand double teams, and still make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Someone who can partner with their already formidable edge rushers to create a fearsome front seven. And that perfect solution might just be available. Derrick Brown is the name that has everyone talking. When one considers the caliber of a player like Derrick Brown, you realize why he's at the top of the wish list for any team looking to bolster their defensive strength. Derrick Brown's potential arrival in Cleveland could solve their defensive woes in a monumental way. Standing at 6'5", 320 pounds, Brown is not just a space eater, but a dynamic playmaker from the interior defensive line position. Let's delve into why this trade rumor has sent shockwaves across the league, and why scouts, myself included, are so captivated by the possibility. Brown is a product of Auburn University, where he established himself as one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in college football. His transition to the NFL, initially with the Carolina Panthers, was seamless. Known for his formidable presence, Brown recorded an impressive 58 tackles, including 17 for a loss and 7 sacks in the 2025 season. His ability to consistently penetrate the backfield and apply pressure is well documented, earning him recognition as one of the elite interior linemen in today's game. Advanced metrics highlight Brown's remarkable 12% pressure rate, a stat that tells you how often he disrupts the quarterback, a number that's up there with the best in his position. Film breakdown reveals a player whose game is built around a rare combination of power and agility. Watching Derrick Brown, you see a player who not only bull rushes opponents with brute strength, but also showcases a surprising level of finesse, often using swim moves and rip techniques to bypass blockers. His hand technique is arguably one of the best in the league, allowing him to disengage quickly and pursue running backs or quarterbacks. It's this versatility and skill set that make him such a valuable commodity. Derrick's ability to be an every-down player who excels against both the run and the pass sets him apart from many of his contemporaries. What makes Derrick Brown particularly enticing for the Browns is his knack for making clutch plays in high-stakes situations. His tape shows a player who rises to the occasion when the game is on the line, consistently making plays that shift the momentum. In a crucial Week 15 matchup last season, Brown's relentless pressure forced a game-sealing interception in the fourth quarter. Scouts rave about not just his physical capabilities, but his mental acumen and leadership on the field. A high football IQ and an insatiable drive to excel have been key in his development as a leader. It's no wonder, then, that the Browns see him as the perfect fit to bolster their defenses. Now let's talk about how such a massive trade could be executed. To bring a player like Derrick Brown to the Cleveland Browns, there will need to be some strategic negotiations and financial gymnastics involved. Brown, who is under contract with the Carolina Panthers after signing a lucrative 4-year, $96 million extension, is a prized asset. Therefore, acquiring him won't come cheap. Over the Cap and Spotrac detail his contract, pointing out that $63, $165 million of it is guaranteed, which includes a $25 million signing bonus. The mechanics of this trade will be a complex puzzle involving multiple draft picks, possibly high-value players, and strategic cap management. The Browns could potentially offer a package that might include a first-round and a future second-round pick, along with a current roster player to tempt the Panthers. With the Panthers potentially looking to rebuild or invest in other areas, they might entertain a package that allows them to solidify depth across the board. The Browns' first-round pick would be particularly enticing, considering how it could land them another cornerstone player in the draft. From a salary cap perspective, the Browns would need to maneuver carefully. As of now, the Browns have substantial room to accommodate a significant cap hit. Their current spending sees them with a total cap of around $301, $2 million, and they've managed to handle contracts with void years smartly. But acquiring Brown will require cutting, restructuring, or trading away some existing contracts to fit his salary under their cap. The departure of Myles Garrett has already freed up significant cap space, albeit with a notable dead cap hit for the 2026 season. With some of the contracts having movable terms, the Browns could absorb Brown's cap hit with some clever restructuring. This move poses potential ripple effects throughout the league. Teams in the AFC North would have to reconsider their offensive line strategies to combat Brown's presence. The winners of this trade, if completed, will undoubtedly be the Browns, who will receive a transformational player in Brown. On the other hand, the Panthers would benefit from valuable draft capital and cap savings that could help them rebuild more effectively. However, the losers could be the opposing quarterbacks, who will have one more nightmare to contend with on Sundays. Diving into how Derrick Brown fits within the Browns system is another fascinating layer of this potential blockbuster trade. The Browns' defensive coordinator has a philosophy built around aggressive, disruptive play from up front. Brown fits this scheme perfectly with his ability to create chaos in the backfield. His skill set would enable the Browns to employ more varied pressure schemes, giving their linebackers and secondary more opportunities to capitalize on hurried or errant throws. Coach Kevin Stefanski's system would allow Brown to play to his strengths, utilizing him in creative ways to leverage his visceral presence. Compared to peers like Aaron Donald, Brown's playstyle is more about overwhelming power coupled with tactical precision. His comparison isn't just theoretical. Brown's performance metrics in key stats such as run stops and pressures per pass rush snap align closely with, and in some cases exceed, players who are traditionally considered top tier. In terms of projected impact, adding Brown could elevate the Browns' defense to a top 10 unit. The best-case scenario sees Brown rejuvenating the Browns' defensive line, leading to significant improvements in their run defense and pass rush efficiency. This could bolster their playoff prospects as they contend in a highly competitive AFC. The worst-case scenario would involve potential impacts on locker room chemistry or injuries, but given Brown's leadership qualities and durability track record, this risk is relatively minimal. After analyzing all the pieces of this potential trade, my professional opinion is that pulling the trigger on acquiring Derrick Brown could be a transformative move for the Cleveland Browns. For a franchise that has long been on the cusp, yet unable to break through, Derrick Brown provides that missing piece of the puzzle. His presence could turn Cleveland's Achilles heel into one of its greatest strengths. For fans and analysts alike, the upcoming weeks are critical to watch. Will the Browns' management pull off this monumental trade and catapult themselves into the discussion of legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Or will the Panthers decide to retain their defensive stalwart and continue building around him? The timeline for this trade, if it is to happen, should see some movement as teams begin finalizing rosters before the start of the training camps. It's an exciting time, and one that could reshape the fortunes of the Browns significantly. So keep your eyes on the news and be ready for what could be one of the most memorable trades in recent memory.